So I think there are three big legacies or takeaways from Kargil, particularly from the Pakistani side. So I think first, conventional efforts to get Kashmir are basically over. I think whether this will be kind of publicly admitted to or not, I think that Pakistani leaders, including probably in the military, understand that this just is not a way that they will succeed in getting Kashmir away from India. Secondly, I think that it just reinforces the traditional civ-mil problems we see in Pakistan. The military's narrative seems to still be that, they had secured the territory, were unlikely to be driven out by Indian forces, and that instead, civilian Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, basically stabbed them in the back and sort of sold out their gains. Not really any sign that thinking has changed in the intervening 20 years, and that's a very dangerous lesson for the country, particularly for the military, to be taking away from the conflict. And then lastly, more broadly, Kargil is the canonical case of this idea that nuclear weapons embolden states. That, this is something that Pakistan did just 1 year after it tested nuclear weapons, and that therefore it likely did it because it had tested nuclear weapons. I tend not to agree with that interpretation, but it is a very popular and common one that has, given rise to a much broader argument. So we now worry about North Korea, about a possible future nuclear Iran, et cetera, thinking that, nuclear weapons have encouraged the North Koreans to do things that they previously wouldn't do, or wouldn't have done rather, and that if Iran were to get nuclear weapons at some point in the future, that regime too would start doing extra bad stuff. So between taking the conventional option off the table for Pakistan, between reinforcing that country's pathologies when it comes to civil-military relations, and between giving birth to and really fueling this idea that nuclear weapons embolden, at least weak, dissatisfied countries, I think the Kargil legacy, is huge.